Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Bowtie Movie Lounge. I'm your host, Jacob Strupek. Joining me today is my good friend, William Murphy. Now, William, we met on our the last set. Yeah. We're not gonna say any names. I just don't know if I'm pretty sure we're not allowed to, even though it was a pretty chill set.
Yeah,
that's where we met. We met it was like August, early August.
Yeah.
We got pretty tight that one day we worked, and then came back together and.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like making shows together.
Yeah.
Not really movies, where we film, but like I'm working on a movie like now, but like this is like we really don't make a whole lot of movies here, just make shows.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
But you excited for the film that we're doing today?
I'm very excited.
You're very excited.
Classic.
It is a classic.
Yes.
And by classic, it was, like from the 80s, yeah? The classic Beetlejuice. So sit back and relax. You got the Bowtie Movie Lounge. It's showtime.
It's showtime.
I had to start off with that, catch everyone off guard. Beetlejuice.
Oh, yeah.
What a movie. We just watched. You just finished it, for the third time in 24 hours since I kept having to leave?
I had never seen the movie until last night and then watched it twice today. So, yeah, I've seen it like three times in the last 12 hours.
That's insane. I mean, I hate when that happens to me. It just happens. It's oh well. Well, hopefully your experience was not tainted on the movie. So
no.
I'll jump ahead. What did you think of the movie?
Overall, a lot of fun.
A lot of fun?
Yeah, it's definitely one of Tim Burton's most fun movies, if not the most fun, in my opinion.
That's true. I'm trying to think of any like others that were like maybe more fun.
Mm-hmm.
I actually enjoy. I'm probably one of the only people in the world because it sounds like not everyone enjoys Alice in Wonderland, which is one of his newer ones.
Yeah,
that one was very. I think it was 2010. That one was heavy CGI, but like it was fun. Had great actors. I love Helena Bonham Carter. She's an amazing character actress. She's phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, this movie holds up. I love this movie. It's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
I'd only seen it like maybe once or twice as a kid. I had to revisit it, today. When I sat down and watched it. It just kind of reconnected with me. It's oddly nostalgic, even though it's not a strong hold. I remember you saying something like that. You said it felt nostalgic.
Yeah, it's funny because I'd never seen it until last night, but when I was watching it for the first time, there was like a weird element of nostalgia, and I was trying to think, I'm like, how is this possible? I've never seen this movie.
Yeah.
And then I realized it was because I don't know what it was. When I was younger, I watched some other movie, but there'd always be like some preview right before it. Coming up on DVD kind of thing, like home theater feature, it would show like a clip of Beetlejuice.
Is it the fingerprints of Tim Burton maybe? Or just like the marketing that you've seen over the years? Like what? I don't know. I feel like this movie definitely has like Tim Burton fingerprints. Just, it's just smudged in. I mean, obviously it's like his movie, but like it's just so heavy in his style.
It is. It's very much a Tim Burton film. I think the only thing that doesn't feel as much Tim Burton is it's just not as creepy as a lot of his other ones.
No, it's not.
Like I said, it's just more fun. It's more like a family movie,
He definitely evolves.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like his films evolve like over the years. You actually surprisingly knew what Pee-wee's Big Adventure was.
Oh yeah,
it's
great.
I grew up with that movie.
It's hilarious.
Like it has like that same element.
There it is. I was doing like a goofy laugh. I don't know what that was.
I meant to do that.
It's amazing.
I used to impersonate Pee-wee a long time ago.
That's great. That's really good.
All right, I need to stop. I'm gonna go too hard into
it. You keep giggling.
I'm gonna keep giggling. That's not what people came here to listen to. People came here to listen to Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
You can't say my name.
3 times.
3 times, say it 3 times, and I'll come. All right, I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to keep them. I'm gonna have to keep them. You feel like you do as much impressions as you want on this. I need to keep it down because I could get out of hand. But we're talking about Beetlejuice today.
Yes.
The 1988. I didn't realize it was that old. 1988. I thought it may have been somewhere like early 90s, but it's 1988.
The year before Batman, right?
Yes, the year before
also
Batman.
Tim Burton.
Also Tim Burton.
So
yeah.
Michael Keaton.
Which, was kind of odd seeing that like dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Keaton with portraying an actual iconic superhero.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. Beetlejuice stepping into the cape. It's just weird.
Dude, Michael Keaton is mad talent.
He does. Still going hard today. Still going strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, this film was made with a $15 million budget, and up to date so far making a worldwide gross of $75 million. Not bad at all. I mean,
for the time, that's how much money it made.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean,
I wonder what that would be now.
I feel like wait.
Pretty
You said at the time it made that much money?
Yeah.
No, that's up to date.
Oh, it's up to date. Okay.
I feel like it should have made more. I mean, it's definitely left more of a cultural impact.
I feel like that's a movie that's probably just gotten better over time.
Yeah.
Where people have enjoyed it more since it's been out.
That is very true. You and I are obviously too young to be like, yeah, I remember when that came out, I don't know why I jumped into another
Saw that one in the womb. Remember that?
Yeah. Shoot, I was not even a thought, when this film came out,
Yeah.
Both of my parents were probably hitting puberty at this point, That was probably a little too personal.
TMI.
So, mom and dad, sorry. They don't even listen, so we're good. The film stars Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, Catherine O'Hara, and Jeffrey Jones. Pretty stellar cast.
That is a very good cast.
As you mentioned, a lot of John Hughes actors, mainly, or they stand out the most with Catherine O'Hara and Jeffrey Jones. They were very heavy, and they were like really good in this. They stood out. They kind of broke that mold that they kind of have in John Hughes, which is very grounded. Always is like a grounded films.
Yeah,
and like grounded characters with that director. But then once they work with Tim Burton, they're able to like open up, which we'll talk about in a little more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, like I said, this movie has over time become a cult classic. Everyone wants to dress up like him, like Beetlejuice for Halloween.
You're dressed up as someone from Beetlejuice.
I am. Shout out to Autumn from our last app, trying to get her.
Damn it!
Inside joke for y'all that no one will get. But Autumn, please listen and please get that joke. But yeah, I'm dressed as Autumn.
Wow,
oh, that's weird. That's weird.
Hi, Autumn.
Adam. I'm dressed as Adam. Okay, I see where I made the connection. Adam.
Sounds similar.
Oh shoot, I had
Adam Maitland.
Maitland, that's it.
Yes.
I knew it was like mate something.
Yeah.
But I just forgot. And listeners, y'all should watch the video version of this on YouTube just to see that our boy Will here decided to show up as Homelander. And if y'all thought he was either Spider-Man, Superman, or Captain America, he's not. He's Homelander.
Better get it right. Thank you, fellow patriot, for the shout out. I love it.
Absolutely. I had to pull that out. No. As we said before, definitely worth the watch. Great film.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we dive into discussing it? Spoiler alerts for those who have not seen it. Spoiled that Michael Keaton's in it. Michael Keaton's Beetlejuice. What a shocker. So that's it. So yeah, spoiler alert. Synopsis. It's pretty basic. I usually don't do this. I don't know why I even have it still here in my notes. Just Alec Baldwin. Yeah, shoot.
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin plays Adam. Adam and Barbara.
Yeah.
They are a happy married couple. They die. They are ghosts that are hunting their own house. People move in. It's Winona Ryder. She plays. Lydia.
That's right.
Dietz. Lydia Dietz. and she sees him. It's oh well. I'm gonna spend too much time doing that, and I'm giving up now.
Essentially, it's just the couple, their ghosts. They just want them out of the house. The new homeowners.
See, you were able to do it in 3 seconds. Where I'm gonna try to take.
And Beetlejuice is like their help.
Yeah, he's the help.
But he's a little whack.
He's very wacky. He kind of comes in halfway point and becomes the villain in the start of the third. Yeah, is that how you say it? Yeah, the third of it. That's it. The last third of it. So yeah, that's basically the synopsis.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this movie starts off pretty strong. I did a double take as it was doing like that scenic view, like aerial shot. I thought that was like a real town, and then like gotcha. It's actually a place, like a miniature set. Did you ever?
Oh wait, you mean like the opening?
The opening credits.
I did not realize that was the model.
Yeah, it was the model.
What? Did they pan out and show that?
No, like it kind of gets it goes. It's like going over the trees. It looks very real.
Wow.
They did really good with it. And then like unless I missed like a transition, it looked very real. And then like
I was taking notes. I mean,
that's most likely what you were doing. But I was just kind of sitting there, and all of a sudden like it gets closer and closer, and it starts to look cheesy.
Mm.
And it was kind of cool, and like it was like, wait a second, are they trying to make it look cheesy, or is it did they just do a bad job?
Oh, I think I remember what the transition was.
Wait, really?
Then it goes to their house, and then the spider crawls over the top of it.
Yep.
And then Alec Baldwin just
he
casually picks it up.
He's like, oh, that's a big one.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
And it kind of sets a little bit of the tone, just kind of like how kooky, it's going to be, just a little bit with his character.
It's like the country folk. I guess they don't, they're used to it.
Yeah. Well, I you see where I live, and I actually do pick up banana spiders. I don't know why I disclosed, I'd pick them up. Not the wandering ones. Those are bad in Brazil.
Spooky.
It's very spooky. I'm kind of weird like that. I belong in a Tim Burton film. Just my life. But no, I mean, I remember writing down the Maitlands. We have Gina Davis, who plays Barbara Maitland, and then you have Alec Baldwin, who plays Adam Maitland. I really like their chemistry. They just seemed very authentic. They seemed very real. Just the way they were like just loving up on each other and just kind of talking as like a couple. And I was like, oh, wow, that's very realistic.
Yeah, they're both like very, they're content with their lives and each other.
Right.
Seem like nice, happy people.
Yeah, they seem nice. I would like to go, visit them. Maybe they have Ben and Jerry's in their freezer and they like let me have some since they're in Vermont.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, just kind of like show the dynamic, kind of jumping ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But then it shows the Dietz, who are very dysfunctional. Your typical Tim Burton family. Not your typical Tim Burton family, but like the pinnacle of his film basically put into family form.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole film is based off of them, like the whole like texture of it is based off of them.
Yeah.
And I really like that contrast between the two.
Mm-hmm.
You have the couple who's very loving and sweet, and then you have the Dietz who they have their own way.
Yeah, and the second they arrive, it's like you said, the whole look of the film changes.
Yeah, it does.
Once they renovate that house, it's like different setting the rest of the time.
It really does.
Yeah.
Because when you're the first few minutes of I don't know, seconds almost of watching it, you see the interaction, like their realtor friend comes, Jane. Yeah, she comes,
Jane.
and they're trying to blow her off.
Yeah,
that was actually
just like, oh, hi, Jane, bye, Jane.
That's basically how it was.
Yeah.
But it kind of like gives you like a Funny Farm feeling. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but it feels like that. It has Chevy Chase, definitely worth a watch. It has like that feeling. Like, go into the old town, like there's that old man who he's like every old man. He's just like, oh hey, let me tell you about this time. Let me dwell on, something that's very irrelevant to you, and I don't know if I said that right. I forget how it said. But that's basically like how it it gives like a false setup basically to the tone. And so I just thought that was funny. And then they literally like swerve off a bridge. and sets up the whole plot
Yeah.
for the film, where they die because a dog, that's
Freaking
not even a
dog.
fraction of the weight of the car.
Yeah.
It jumped off and they fell into the water.
Mhm.
And you kind of slowly, but at the same time quickly figure out that they're dead. And they weren't ditzy about it. Did you find like they were ditzy? Like, I like how they're like, okay, we're dead. Instead of it just kind of like, no, we're not dead. We can't be dead. You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's because it happened pretty fast. It goes back to their house and they're just by the fire.
Yeah.
And then remember, like, her fingers are on fire?
Yeah.
And they're both like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And they find that handbook and they're like, I guess we're dead.
Yeah. But like he's even Adam is slowly piecing it together like, well, like, it starts to make sense. I don't remember coming back up here,
Yeah.
Stuff
how do we
like
get
that.
Back? Yeah, to the house.
And then they try to go outside and they're transported to Jupiter and stuff. And it's just all weird. And it quickly sets up the plot.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you get it. Not really it doesn't really quickly set up the plot, but you get the gist of what's happening.
Yeah, the whole premise, the whole concept's introduced.
Yeah. That's what I meant. But no, like then you get the deets. Well, first you get Jane who comes and it specifies it. It's like, all right, even the outside world knows that they're dead. They must have found their bodies in the in the car at the bottom of the creek, even though their souls were there.
Yeah.
It sets that up like, okay, they are for sure dead. In case y'all didn't get it, now they're traveling to the afterlife. No wait, that's later, after the deets come. That sets up that it just keeps building more and more. That's one thing I noticed is that the whole plot of it is built up really well.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you feel about that? Did you feel like it was just pieced together well, and just like it drove well? What did you
Just
think?
the plot in general?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there was never really a dull moment, too. I think the pacing was really good in keeping the plot constantly moving.
Mm-hmm.
There were never really times where the plot kind of paused.
Right.
Like, there wasn't a ton of breathing room, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That's true. It had like some fluff, marbling and steak, if you will, for just kind of keeping it entertaining, but at the same time, just like the entertainment was like went along with the pacing of the story.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a good word to use it. The pacing worked really well with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, yeah, I 100% agree with you on that one. But no, I mean, you quickly get like the tone of the whole movie, like right there, right as the deets come in, as we've discussed. But yeah, and then you have Winona Ryder who plays Lydia. That's her name, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
She comes in and she like they're all different. The pretty close to normal dad. Who
the dad? He makes me laugh the most out of all of them.
I related to him the most. So just Jeffrey Jones.
I came here to relax and clip coupons, and damn it, I mean to do it, or whatever that line was. So
I forget what that was basically it. I like the part where he's like flipping through the book. He's like, "Ooh, birdies," and then
he's got his little thing in the office. He's like.
He's just like doing random stuff.
He's like looking at binoculars. Remember the bird's eating something, and he's like, "Get it." It's like so weird, but it's so funny.
It's like that's stuff that I do. It's like I don't know if that's just like if I'm just as weird as he is, or if that's just he's just the normal character. I just don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and
I just like him a lot because he's just like they moved into this new house, and he really likes it, and the mom clearly doesn't.
Yeah.
She wants to like renovate the whole thing.
She just wants to change it.
Yeah, but I like that the dad's so funny because he's just like, all right, around the country, I like this house. And he's just like enjoying the little things in life. And he's just like, relax. This is nice, guys, right?
Yeah.
See, I like this. This is nice. Look at that bird over there. See, the bird's nice. Like, this is nice. It's a good place.
But then at the same time, he's like, happy wife, happy life. He's having to balance both,
Yeah.
And like, I love Catherine O'Hara as the mom.
God.
She's phenomenal.
I just think of Home Alone whenever I see her.
Yeah.
It's another like John Hughes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like she in this, she's such a different character. Like, you know, she's so different. And I love it. She's phenomenal in this.
She's so good. I love her, especially her reactions at the dinner scene.
Yeah.
When they have the guests over. I love it when the, Otho's like, oh, she's just upset because someone dropped a house on her sister.
Yeah. And she like,
yeah, no, her acting with like the nervous laughter throughout that whole scene.
Yeah.
Is so good. She's just like, she doesn't know, like, quite, like,
she's trying to
it's really awkward.
She's just trying to smooth everything off, at her dinner. And she's she's basically a sale pitch for all of her sculptures. And like, she now knows about the ghosts that live in her house. And she's trying to sell that. And she's all over the place. And she does such a good job at it.
She's always trying to take control of her character.
Right.
Even with the ghosts.
Yeah, that's a good...
Remember, she's like, open up! She's like, this is how you got to deal with people who are both dead and alive. Otherwise, they're going to walk all over you.
And just all of her, like, little quirky comments. I'm pretty sure I wrote some of them down. But we'll get to that. We'll get to those. But, like, just all of her comments, just, like, the screenwriting... Well, what am I trying to say? Just the dialogue in this just matches all the characters, and all the actors did phenomenal with the portrayal of it and just bringing it to the screen. They did amazing. I couldn't appreciate it more.
I think before we move on, just going back to Jeffrey Jones, you said how Catherine O'Hara is like so different than she was in Home Alone.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Jones is the same way. Like, when I see him, I think of Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
He's so different.
He is.
Such a different role.
He is.
He's not like this villainous principal who's just trying to bust Ferris and losing his mind over it. He's like he starts off as just like the, like I said, the happy, relaxed, no, we're out in the country. It's this nice, normal dad.
Yeah. Just the normal dad with maybe a little bit of ADHD, just like, he's like, oh, look, I'm just going to notice everything. And just, he did perfect.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have Winona Ryder.
Did not even recognize her until I looked up the cast. I was absolutely shocked. She's a little baby. Her and Alec Baldwin are little babies, but especially her.
Like, she's
gosh.
Unrecognizable.
She could have been, we said this earlier, she could have been like 11.
Yeah, she could have been 11.
She looks like a Stranger Things character half the time.
Instead of the mom, whose name I'm completely blanking on right now. But
she looks like one of the kids in Stranger Things.
It's crazy. Yeah. Like, I know, that's insane to think about. But no, she played this character really well too.
Yeah, she did.
Like, she did phenomenal. Like, she was very young when she did this, and she did perfect.
I love her when she's like, when the father's like, don't worry, Lydia, we'll build you a dark room in the basement in no time. She's like, my whole life is one big dark room. And I love, like, when she finds out that they're in the bed sheets.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, when she finds like Alec Baldwin, and I'm totally blanking on the
Barbara.
Yeah, Barbara and
or Gina
Adam.
Davis.
Yeah. When she like finally meets them for the first time as ghosts.
Yeah.
When she looks at the pictures and they don't have their feet are like not in the picture where they had the sheets over them, so she realizes they're ghosts. I love her reaction when she's like, "You guys were the ones in the attic," and they're like, "Yeah, we've been here since the funeral." And she's like, "Funeral?" And it's like the first time you see her smile the whole movie. She's like, "So you guys really are dead?" I like her character and her acting. She's like this like kind of depressed emo girl, but like her running into dead people is like the most exciting thing that's happened to her in her whole life.
It's like the one thing that makes her happy.
Yeah, most people would be terrified, but she's like, "This is awesome."
She definitely, like, that part of her character drives the plot forward.
Oh, she's definitely a very important part of the plot in terms of like her interacting. She's like the go-between between the family and the ghosts.
She's very crucial to it.
Yeah.
And I love that Winona Ryder utilizes that in such a good way, very professional. So yeah, no, she was perfect.
She was.
But no, I love the part. I mean, like, probably the most iconic scene. Well, I'm probably gonna say that with every scene, basically. I mean, you've got the Deo, but the part that I'm talking about is the one they go to the afterlife. They go into the waiting room, and you just kind of like see how like It's like, oh, that's how they died. Okay, that's funny, and it's just like gags within it, and then everyone there is just real funny.
Yeah.
Just the humor in this, like that's where it all is like really kept too. It seems like just the main humor that the film focuses on is like whenever they're in the afterlife and stuff, and it's just fun with all like
the smoking guy.
The smoking guy.
He's literally like a burnt crisp, and he's like, "You want a light?" And he's like trying to cut down myself.
I wrote that down as one of my favorite quotes actually.
Yeah.
Like just all those like little just kind of one-liners and stuff.
Yeah.
They're perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. But what else? Yeah, it just worked out so well. With just how goofy they were trying to make the set look. Actually, I'll get into that with like the tidbits and stuff. But I guess I'll just do it now while I'm here. The production designs were supposed to be kind of cheesy looking. They're supposed to be real weird and goofy, but like it definitely added like a certain charm to it too, and just played really well with like what they were going through and stuff, and just made it humorous and not too creepy and scary.
But it's like the perfect Tim Burton mixture where it's like he also mixes a little bit of creepiness with humor.
Right.
For like, for example, when they're like going through the office, like in the undead place, and there's just that guy who's just constantly going around with a noose on his neck.
Yeah.
Like he hung himself, and it's like, oh, that's dark, but it's funny because he's like going around the office, he's like dropping papers on desks, like he's like dead, like he hung himself, but he's just like a worker at the office.
Yeah, like now all the dead people have jobs. Even like you said, he just hung himself. It's just it's ridiculous. And
I'm surprised there wasn't a line in there that was like, hey, how's it hanging?
Oh,
Because there's that other guy that was like, I've been feeling kind of flat lately, and he like went in between the two things, and he's like paper thin.
Oh man! And then like the smoking guy, like yeah, I'm trying to cut down myself. Obviously something happened. Like he tried lighting at a gas pump or something.
The football players.
Oh man, coach, hey coach, get me straight on this one.
I don't think we survived that crash.
Like, yeah, you figured it out.
Yeah.
Oh man, I put down one of those lines. I'll have to go back down to it later, but no, I did like one thing that I noticed in the beginning when Jane was. I wrote it down and I just read it, so I just thought I might as well just go down. But whenever it's revealed that they can't have kids, the Maitlands can't have kids. They can't have a family.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of sets something up for kind of the end, where I'll just jump there now, where Lydia, they kind of become the aunt and uncle, if not just kind of almost, I guess, surrogate parents for her,
Mm-hmm.
like whenever, like they're her ghost friends, but like they're kind of like her source of happiness, where she can feel like she can connect with them. So they kind of like get that parental, feel to them by the end of it. I don't know if you caught that or not.
Yeah. No, I did. And another thing I thought at the end, a bit more of a depressing thought, but it was along those lines, is earlier in the movie, their caseworker, the undead caseworker Juno, is like, oh, you're going to be in that house for 125 years, I think. So I was like, so basically they're going to have this dynamic until she either leaves the house or she dies.
Right.
So I'm like, they're going to be there for 125 years. Like,
what are they going to do?
Like, that means that they're going to live there through the duration of this current family, and then a new one might move in, and they're going to have to deal with them.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice 2, question mark?
In production, according to IMDb.
Because they'll be there for 125 years, you'd think they're going to have to deal with another family. Unless it's Winona Ryder. She's there with her kids now.
She's,
You never know.
I'm still blanking on the mom's name that she plays in Stranger Things, like...
Oh, Joyce?
Yeah, Joyce.
Joyce Byers.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
She brings Will and them like there. And that's the whole setup.
Oh my god, dude, Beetlejuice 2 Stranger Things crossover.
Please don't, but it's just a fun thought,
It's a fun thought. Honestly, you could do it, but it'd be silly.
Just don't do it. Just please, y'all, Warner Brothers, please save yourself.
Yeah.
Don't do it, please.
I don't think we have to be too worried about that.
No.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, you never know with the way some things have been going. But, hey, I'm gonna stay out of it. I'll just say that much. Just don't do it, please. Just don't. But no. So I like kind of like the parental, the kind of family, kind of underlying thing that's kind of put in there, where they basically, emotionally adopt Lydia. But then there's like the life and death kind of like suicidal like underlying thing that's in there, like where she's like, I want to die. They're like, no, take it from us. Where we're at right now, you don't. Like I like that.
Yeah.
It was definitely kind of. It's definitely like someone who's very depressed. I don't feel like this movie's gonna change their life, but it was still kind of like a nice like, hey, it's a nice little.
Yeah, it's at least pushing a not a good message.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's not a bad example, really.
Yeah, it's not a bad example, but I mean, it's not gonna change someone's life. No. But I still really appreciate like where they were coming with from it. Mm-hmm. And I liked it. It was well done. Like the lines really hit me. I was like, oh wow, that was cool. Felt very subtle, but like very powerful at the same time. So that's how I saw it.
Suicide too is something they brought up in the film several times, which I thought was interesting.
And some of them was like jokes too.
Yeah, no, it was mostly in a joking context.
Right. Well, everything in this movie pretty much is in a joking context, but it has like that underlying, very grounded feel. Would you say so?
Yeah. What else was I going to say? Oh, about Lydia, Winona Ryder's character, when she's like writing her suicide note.
Yeah.
She's like,
yeah, that's true.
Plummet off the bridge, but like
just keep scratching it out.
Yeah, I know. She's like, I got to word this correctly, but
it's almost like I got to go out with a bang.
Yeah,
I got to leave an emotional mark on people with my writing, my creative
that's
writing.
why she crossed out the word jump, and she's like, no, it's got to be plummet. It's got to be more dramatic.
Yeah, that's good that you brought that up. I forgot about like that scene, but that kind of adds to our point as if she like the whole film kind of jokingly talks about suicide, but like still has those kind of underlying. It makes it very almost like the topic to discuss about it very comfortable, I guess. Like, hey, look, this is a real problem. We should be able to talk about it, type thing. I don't know. I feel like this is what the film is kind of advocating for.
Yeah, and like I was trying to think to myself too. I'm like, why does her character like want to die? And I was trying to think about this. It's like, well, maybe she's just depressed. But I'm like, well, they never say that. I'm trying to put together clues in the movie as to why she would do that. So, like, the first thing is, oh, this new house is not her environment.
Yeah.
And then I guess the second thing would be she can't stand her mom.
Yeah.
She's in a fractured family.
She's in a very dysfunctional family.
And then I guess the third thing is that the only thing that is sort of functional to her are the two ghosts that she can talk to.
Right.
The people that are dead.
The people
that
are
like,
dead.
Well, I want to be dead now because that's like really the only sort of order she has in her life are with dead people.
Right.
So I was like, that's probably why I would think.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
No, that's actually a really good point. That's what I was thinking when you kind of raise that question, like why does she want to die?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, like in real life circumstances, you wouldn't really. It's a lot more than like just a reason that we can see or understand. Yeah. Sometimes I definitely don't want to get too much into this. Where I'm just. It sounds like I'm talking out my ass sometimes, but it's more of like that's her connection. It kind of shows in the film, like you said, where she's more comfortable talking to dead people who are dead. That's the environment that she wants. But then it's kind of like a safe environment that's created. Whoa.
Yeah.
So is this movie, hear me out. So this movie trying to do, it's kind of what I was saying earlier, like this film is trying to create a safe environment to talk about suicide. Mm-hmm. Like the Maitlands created a safe environment for her to be herself.
Yeah.
Is that a parallel?
It's very possible.
I don't know.
It's interesting you bring it up.
I'm thinking I'm on my high horse. I think I just cured cancer. So, we're like, oh, breakthrough, But no,
That's interesting.
that's what I like about this film is it holds a lot of kind of underlying what is it? Just kind of like topics and just conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a lot more to talk. Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna add real quickly. With her contemplating the whole suicide thing, I think Beetlejuice too was like a deterrent.
Yeah.
Because her only interaction with being dead were the Maitlands.
Right.
And then she meets Beetlejuice, and she's just like, "You are the snake.
Yeah.
You're bad.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around you. If I'm dead, I'm gonna have to deal with you."
Yeah. And that's what they were trying. That's what the Maitlands were trying to say. They were the only good thing about being dead, basically. Yeah. And then they were trapped there for 125 years. Like they don't want that for her. And then she kind of realized, like, I don't want that. So yeah. So it's
instead she can just fly on the stairs and sing.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have to be dead.
She doesn't have to be dead. She can just sing "Jump in the Line," with all the football players.
Football players. I like how they brought them back at the end just for that stair thing.
Yeah, because they really made a good entrance whenever their time came on.
It's funny.
Well, that was a long time on the topic of suicide. Let's talk more about the movie and the production.
Yeah.
We really have not dove too much into Beetlejuice himself.
That's true. We haven't talked that much about Beetlejuice.
We have not, and we're probably halfway through.
Literally the title of the movie.
I know. Michael Keaton just nailed it on this. I need to go back and look at the start of Michael Keaton. I always thought he definitely was doing more comedy. When was Mr. Mom? I'm pretty sure
my God, I forgot about that movie.
That's a great movie. I love that movie.
I literally forgot the movie existed until now.
There's Mr. Mom. There's is it called Night Shift? Him and Henry Winkler. They're working in a morgue or something.
I haven't seen it.
I don't. Did I watch that? No, I just know about it.
Sounds entertaining though.
It does sound entertaining. But he apparently just kills it in that movie too. We're gonna have to watch that one. Night Shift, I'm pretty sure is what it's called. So it's kind of funny. This is his big film where he just kind of explodes and has this crazy iconic character that he's made iconic because it's so good.
Oh yeah.
I want to say they were trying to get Sammy Davis Jr. Tim Burton wanted Sammy Davis Jr. to play Beetlejuice.
Really?
Could you see that?
Dude, I can't see that many people outside of Michael Keaton.
That's true.
Just from watching that, he just nailed it.
He did. So, what are your thoughts on Beetlejuice as a whole, and talking about the character?
Beetlejuice. Okay, so I know you mentioned earlier that you're he becomes a villain later on in the movie.
Right.
I honestly think he was sort of a villain the whole time.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like he was kind of skating in between, where he was the whole time where it's he's definitely not a good guy, or he's been warned about. He seems like someone who's whack, but at the same time he's useful. Yeah. So the first part of the movie, you're it's hard to formulate an opinion on him yet because you're he seemed
he could be a just a con guy, a con man, or he's just maybe just lost. That's how I saw it. But then remember the part with the fly? Hey, come here, hey, come here, fly, come here, come on, come down. And he grabs the fly, and the fly's like, help me. And then, you just hear Beetlejuice is burp and stuff. Yeah. And you're like, oh shoot. So he's very bad. But where you first see him, where he's flipping through the magazine, let's see what we have here. Oh, the Maitlands. I'm back in business. Stuff like that.
I think Beetlejuice is one of those characters. He's not a villain in the sense that I don't really think he goes much out of his way to be I'm going to go ruin the main characters. Right. He just kind of he kind of does what he wants, and he doesn't really care about the side effects or the consequences if it does affect anyone negatively. Right. He he's completely whack and crazy.
Yeah.
And he just wants to, he's like, oh, it's been 600 years. I need a little action. And he's like looking at the nightclub. He's just always looking to indulge himself and only looking in what is to gain with himself, even if it's like making a deal with the Maitlands, what's in it for him. It's all about him, but it's like, he's not necessarily a villain in the sense where he's like some evil force where he's like going out of his way to like kill or whatever, destroy the main characters, but he certainly doesn't care if something happens to them because of him.
Right. That's very true. He doesn't care about any he's just chaotic.
He's literally a ball of chaos energy.
Just a great
he's just a tornado.
Of fire. That's all he is.
Yeah.
He's a home wrecker,
Yeah, I love when the spikes are coming out of him and he's like, I'm feeling a little anxious.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm not even doing that good of an. I need to practice on my impression more. But no, like I love the part. I love the part where he's like like you were saying, like I need a little action, and then the strip club's right there. He's like, come on, and
nice move, Adam. I didn't build that.
Yeah, for a second I'm like, well, dude, did you? Is this,
come on, Adam, admit it.
You just wanted that, but then I love where you. We never talked about Juno, by the way.
Juno, the whorehouse was my idea.
I know, that was just, she did great in that. I need to go back and look at what else that actress did. But she was awesome as Juno.
She was.
I love that line. Like,
she laid down the law of the land.
And then she like, he was my assistant. He's trouble.
I also thought it was so funny how she's like, don't go to him. He's trouble. He doesn't work well with people. Also, if you want to summon him, just say his name 3 times. But don't do that. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would she say that in the first place?
Just tell him why don't you? How it happens, how it comes about,
Yeah, I strongly suggest you don't ever see him. But if you do want to see him, this is what you do.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when you mentioned that watching, I was like, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
it's just silly.
That's pretty stupid of her.
Yeah,
but it definitely like added to it.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me though of the part that I wrote down. I'm gonna do like a little kind of like biblical analogy here, where it's like where they're like, what, let's summon him. Adam from the Bible, who was with Eve, Barbara. He's like, they're like basically gonna take a bite of the forbidden fruit. They're gonna say Beetlejuice. So it happened the same way. It kind of happened like the same way where like God kind of told them like, don't eat it. This will happen type thing. Like, okay. And they did it still. I thought that was kind of like interesting. And then
that is interesting.
It kind of invited Beetlejuice over to him.
Yeah.
And then that's just what a good meeting scene too, where they had to dig him up and stuff. I really like the set.
You said like he's the forbidden fruit.
Yeah.
When Lydia's trying to guess his name, they're doing charades. Oh. Which he's like, beetle fruit.
It's like, whoa, I didn't even realize that.
He's like, and then she finally says Beetlejuice. But I'm like, at some point he is compared to fruit.
Oh, whoa, I didn't even realize that. Oh, look at us conquering this world together.
Conquering together.
Taking down like the complex ideals of this film.
Those complex ideals have nothing on Homelander.
On Homelander and Adam.
And Adam.
And Adam. And Alec Baldwin. I don't know what I did just there. But yeah, we can. So like, I did the Deo scene.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, it's iconic. Like, everyone, if you watch this film, that's what you really remember is the Deo like scene. Where they come back and I don't know why I just said that, but they're trying to sell like the idea of like ghosts and the amusement park and stuff, and everything's just happening. They're like, oh wow, this is right, this is cool. Or in fact, I think that's where they get the idea of the amusement park.
It's like after the whole thing happens, that's where it's like, that was amazing. Wow, they're all like kind of riding the high of like, what did we just experience? And then they kind of act like they already knew about it. They didn't.
And then Jeffrey Jones, of course, like, wow, that was like an amusement ride. Whoo!
Or he's like, wham!
It was just so goofy and like really like kept up with like the just the comedic tone of it all. It was hilarious.
And that like, I knew like when I watched that movie last night for the first time, I knew that song. Mm-hmm. I knew that song was in Beetlejuice. I knew that.
Oh really?
I had no idea what how it would be in the movie, or like what that like I didn't know that scene would occur at all. Like I'd never heard of it or anything. The dinner scene. So I was like so taken aback. I was laughing a lot though. I was like, "This is so goofy. This is hilarious.
Awesome.
I love it."
It played
They're all
really
just like
well.
going around the table, like doing their little thing.
And it's just real oddly acted, but it still worked.
You could see like in their faces too when it's first happening, especially Jeffrey Jones.
Mm-hmm.
When he's like, "Otho, are you doing this?" When he's like, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah.
But then like as they're doing it, they start to like get into it. They start smiling.
They just kind of like, it shows all the actors did in their face like, we're just going along with this.
It's really the boss guy, or the agent of like her sculptures, that guy who's there.
Yeah.
He was like the only guy who like the whole time consistently look on his face. He was like, "What's happening? I have no control."
Right.
But everyone else started off that way and then like kind of embraced it. And they were like, "This is fun. Whatever's happening, I like it."
I love that scene. That's the scene I definitely remembered as a kid, and like as I'm watching it today, I was like, "It's coming up. It's coming up." The one scene that I remember, which was hilarious.
So funny.
The ending just kind of plays on well, I did have a thought earlier and I forgot to mention it, where kind of mentions, Beetlejuice obviously says the line that we both were talking about a lot, where he's like, 600 years I've got any action, stuff like that.
Yeah.
He it shows just how bottled up of a horny man he is, basically.
Well, yeah, and he was like, remember when he first meets Adam and
Barbara.
I keep forgetting her name for some reason.
It's all good. It's all good. I got you, brother.
Remember at one point he literally like has a stick or something. He like lifts up her dress and he's like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah,
and then they're like slaps her. They're like, "Yeah," I'm like,
grabbing her and stuff.
He is like a sexual pervert.
He is like, that's all he is.
Yeah,
makes him more of a bad guy because no one likes a pervert.
Again, everything he does is just to indulge himself in.
Yeah,
he's already kind of miserable being dead as it is.
Right.
He just wants company, and he just wants to like.
He just wants female company. That's
he just
all.
wants to do whatever he wants to do in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't care what happens to anyone else while he does it.
I mean, that's basically the gist of his character, and it played oddly well with it too. Really added to the villainy of him. But what I was thinking is, it makes him even more of a villain when he's going after Lydia. She's a little girl, and you're like, oh, this is uncomfortable. Watching it today was
Edgar Allan Poe's daughter.
Yeah.
You refers to her as Edgar Allan Poe's
like,
daughter.
Oh, but like I no one understands me, but Edgar Allan Poe's daughter and stuff. Yeah. That was a good line.
Yeah.
I actually put that down as one of my favorite quotes.
Mm-hmm.
But he once you see he's wanting Lydia, like, oh, this isn't good. But I see her as an adult, Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
And so, but like watching it today, I was like, oh wait, that's a little girl that he's trying to marry, basically, a little high school age girl, and he's obviously like, underneath all the makeup, you just get the gist that he's an older guy. I guess it's very creepy.
Yeah. Oh, he definitely liked her, not only because he thinks she's attractive, but also just her physical look and what she wears with the black and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, you look like someone I can relate to. Just she's alive, but she looks like someone who would be dead.
Yeah.
Just because of like how.
Just the way she is.
Yeah. So it's like the mix of the two, where he's like, oh yeah, like, attractive, looks like Edgar Allan Poe's daughter. Yeah, we could do this. I want to marry you.
He was into the motif that she brought.
Yeah.
No, she yeah, that's what definitely added to like the oh boy part of it.
Yeah, and he like Beetlejuice. It was like I was saying before, where he's kind of riding the line between being like, it's interesting,
like an anti-hero.
Well, it's like because like it's like I was saying before, like whatever he does, it's like for whatever he's gonna gain out of it. So it's like, he's not necessarily good and helps the main characters, but at the same time, if the main characters ask him for help and something's in it for him, he'll help them.
Right.
So like it's like at the end when Lydia's like, I need you to save Adam and Barbara, please. And he's like, all right, we need to get married then to save them. She's like, fine. But then once they're saved and the marriage procession, like ceremony's still going on, that's when like everyone's desperately trying to stop it. And Beetlejuice is like, no, like I'm taking her. And that's when it's like, okay, we got to get rid of him.
Because Otho, which we haven't talked a whole lot about Otho. Yeah, Otho, whatever.
Yeah.
I was watching with subtitles. I just saw Otho.
Otho.
I liked his character. He was funny. He helped the plot, of course. I don't know why I keep saying that.
Paranormal investigator.
He's
Former.
He's like, I know about the paranormal world side as well as I do with interior decorating.
And then it zooms out, and it's like they're like outside on a patio that like looks so odd and should be inside. Remember, it's like
it's like
it's like
so
really weirdly designed.
You
house.
have my brother. You have a really messed up take on like insight on all this.
So funny.
Oh boy! So you kind of know like from that point like something's gonna happen. He's gonna be involved. Where Adam and Barbara start coming in, and then they're basically being reversed, but actually dying too. They're going past being in between living and dead to just dead.
And that's just classic Otho, because remember he's like, yeah, I'll bring them back, no problem. To the family and Maxie Dean, the business guy.
Right.
And Lydia's like, who am I kidding? Otho can't even change a tire over here.
Yeah.
So like all he did was like read the book, and then they started like dying and crumbling.
And that's just how it goes.
And they're just like, what's going on? And he's just like, I don't know. I think it's too late, by the way.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Oops. Like classic Otho. He's like, I could do this. He just reads the words and he's like, I don't know what's happening.
He's just reading the stereo system manual, basically.
I like how they mention that like twice in the movie. Like, this reads like a stereo instruction and manual.
They're like, look, in between.
Yeah.
I like how that was played out. But that was a good. What did you think about the ending? It was just real odd, real Tim Burton-y.
The ending was nuts. You mean like?
Well, first with the snake attack. That was weird.
Oh, yeah.
That was really weird.
The snake attack.
Remember whenever they're like whenever the mom blanking on
she's like on her hands on the railing.
Yeah, Catherine O'Hara's character.
Wait, what is her name? Why can't we?
I don't know. I forget her name. I need to write. Did I write it down? I don't know.
Delia.
Yes, that is it.
Delia Dietz.
Yeah, she's rubbing it. And you're like, oh, wait, that just looks like a snake.
Yeah.
Apparently, they had to reshoot that because they had not gotten Beetlejuice's character done. So they had to reshoot a lot of that, jumping ahead into the tidbits on production.
Interesting.
So they had to reshoot that to make it look more like the Beetlejuice character.
So originally it was just a snake?
Something like, or just a different looking snake. So they had to make it look more like Beetlejuice himself.
Huh.
So that was interesting. That
was interesting.
So that's where they basically they're all injured and beat up and stuff. It's kind of like the first wave of attack, and then followed by the second wave of attack. Where it's not really an attack, but it's kind of happening within where they're trying to bring Adam and Barbara back, and then it's basically like they're messing things up themselves. So I thought that was cool. A cool scene with the snake. But then the ending is kind of happening, and it's like, oh, the race to stop a marriage, or like the race to be married. It was kind of, you've seen that. I see that a lot in like films where it's like someone's getting married to save the day. It's like an opposite Shrek. It's like a Shrek thing,
Yeah.
But that's just kind of how I saw it. But it was interesting. The ending was just very, I don't know, like I'm trying to I don't know how I'm trying to say it, but it was like very climatic, but at the same time it was almost anticlimactic. But I don't know. What do you think about it?
Yeah, no, the ending it did all happen really fast. That kind of goes back to what I was saying before with the plot. It was like moving at a pace that was the movie is like an hour and a half.
Yeah. Like
it's short. It goes by really fast. And like the whole like wedding thing, stopping the wedding, and everyone's trying frantically to say Beetlejuice, and he's like stopping them, and then finally Barbara comes flying in on the sandworm and just eats him, and then he goes through the floor, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh,
everything's fine.
Gone, and then it just cuts to like, hey, how'd you do in the math test?
Yeah,
or like it shows like Lydia's
coming out of an all girls Catholic school.
Yeah, and then it's just like, oh, I got an A in the on the math test, and it's like, and then she's just like singing and flying, and then the movie ends where it's like, you know, the the thing, it's like I was saying before, like the plot doesn't leave much breathing room, but it's also not the worst thing. Like it gets across the important stuff.
Yeah.
Like it happens fast, but like everything's like understood. It's like,
Right.
oh yeah, they got rid of Beetlejuice, he's gone. And then it's like she's living happily ever after with the two, the Maitlands.
Yeah.
And they're helping her study for tests, and she gets to like sing and float in the air. And the wife, Delia, she's making her sculptures off Beetlejuice's head.
Yeah.
And it's just like, everyone seems to be like content and came out of the situation fine, and a happy ending.
Until Beetlejuice 2 happens.
Beetlejuice 2.
I'm really interested to see how that goes. Hope it's gonna be Tim
I'm
Burton.
kind of nervous.
I'm a little nervous too.
I really hope that'd be so disappointing if they really like messed that up.
Let's see. I honestly liked the second Batman that Tim Burton did. Slightly better. It was a little more
The
entertaining.
one with Danny DeVito and
Yeah,
Michelle
Danny
Pfeiffer.
DeVito. Yeah. So I think he can do good with sequels.
Yeah,
So-
I guess it's just the time.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see what he puts into it. It's gonna be cool.
Like, I guess if we're talking about Beetlejuice 2, I get like something that made the first one so good is, like we were saying before, not just the nostalgia, but like the way everything looked with the sets and the prosthetics and like the 80s special effects and the
But that was really intentional too.
yeah.
And I hope they keep that.
That's what I'm saying. I hope for the second one, like, dude, it would be such a disappointment if it was like filled with CGI and stuff.
Yeah,
Just like, that's like what he did with Alice in Wonderland. But if he's gonna do that, I hope he doesn't do that.
yeah.
I hope he doesn't do Beetlejuice 2 like that.
Just he's gonna have to work with what he started.
Yeah.
But I mean that's making it sound like he has to. Like
And I'm not saying he can't use any CGI.
right
Because there were certainly things in Beetlejuice that looked pretty
CGI.
dated.
Yeah,
Especially his shrinking head at the end.
that
Like,
too.
that could have looked a lot better.
But it still added that charm to it. It
Yeah.
didn't look terrible, but
No.
like it was fun.
Yeah.
But no, Alice in Wonderland, drawing the dynamic, he still makes stop motion stuff, which is all like really well done. Same like as Wes Anderson does with Fantastic Mr. Fox and Isle of Dogs.
Yeah.
He still kind of does the same where he tries to shy away from CGI. But no, I really did appreciate and enjoy like the practical effects, and I hope he holds that for when he does which it seems like he's doing Beetlejuice 2. But yeah, I'm really interested to see how that comes along.
Me too. Yeah.
Sweet. But no, I like the ending. It was good. I do have like some tidbits on production, and then we can jump and breeze over those categories. All of it was filmed in Vermont, where it was supposed to take place in New Hampshire, New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the new places, not New York though, obviously.
New York.
New York. They're all New Yorkers. Hopefully I'm doing that accent correctly. The studio originally wanted to call the film House Ghosts as a joke. But Tim Burton suggested they're all joking. Tim Burton suggested the name Scared Sheetless.
That's funny. But you know what? I'm glad they went with Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
But Scared Sheetless, that's just like
That's awesome.
I'm surprised they didn't put that in there as like a little line.
They should have.
They should have. Because I like little wordplay jokes like that.
That would have been awesome.
That's funny.
But you know what's even funny is he was actually horrified when the studio actually considered it.
Wow.
Yeah. Like they went as far like, oh yeah, that's actually pretty good. Hey, we're going to do it. So that's actually pretty funny. I wonder what that would have been like.
Wow.
This is Michael Keaton's favorite movie of his own.
Really?
Yeah. So
Wow. I didn't know
you
that.
don't hear a whole lot of people talking about, yeah, this is my favorite movie that I did because.
I would have assumed Batman.
Yeah. This is entertaining. He's just watching himself goof off. He's like, yeah.
I got demons in me.
Oh, come get a bite of this bone. Come on, doggy.
Got to be at GQ in an hour and a half. Ugh.
They've been chasing me for a long time. But he ad-libbed 90% of his lines, which goes to show how like impressive and how much it paid off. Like, you can't write stuff like that. a lot of it. It sounds like the GQ thing was something he made up, or I'm gonna say a lot of his lines just you can't help but to not love them, or you can't help but to love them.
Yeah.
I always say that wrong, but yeah. Beetlejuice was the first DVD sent out by Netflix in 1998.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. Like
that is.
That goes back to say on the cultural impact that it had.
That also is weird to think of Netflix being around sending out DVDs a year before I was born.
Well, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Netflix
right.
has been around since then.
I guess so.
I thought it was like somewhere like after I was born, which I was born shortly after, not too long after you.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. That's weird.
That is weird. Man, okay, but I still remember when Netflix would like send DVDs. I used to do it all the time.
Same here.
Yeah, it was after Blockbuster. And
yeah,
stuff,
it would be. Yeah, exactly.
Which I didn't have that. I was too young for Blockbuster.
Oh, really? See, dude, I miss Blockbuster.
I remember being left in the car by my dad when he went in to go get like Return of the Jedi or something.
Yeah.
So it was nice. Instead, I would go in with him sometimes. I just remember that was traumatic for some reason because I woke up and I was crying. Anyway,
Oh no!
I don't know why I just went on that whole tangent. But let's see. Last tidbit that really caught my eye. When Adam and Barbara are in the office. Oh yeah, I remember this. A voice on the PA system announces Flight 409 is arriving at Gate 3.
Mm-hmm.
United Airlines Flight 409 crashed into a mountain in Wyoming on October 6, 1955, killing all passengers and crew aboard. At the time, it was one of the worst plane crashes in history. 3 plane crashes in 1955 with a total of 66 casualties.
I was wondering about that. Mm-hmm. That's a cool fact, because I was wondering, that's so specific.
Yeah.
When they said Flight 409 in the PA system, I'm like, I wonder if that, like, it means anything, or if that's just, like, numeric, like, in their world, all the new revivals just come in flights.
Yeah.
And it's, like, the one following 408.
I like when they bring in, like, kind of real-world stuff. That's very tragic. Shoot, even whenever he was like, hey, Zach, Elvis, hey, yo, King, I was like, wait a second. That was like, it was like a year after, 10 years after he died.
Yeah.
Something like, yeah, he died in 1979, 1978. So like 10 years after. And so, that it was interesting that like, they still even like kind of played a joke. I don't know. May not have been as like too early as to how I'm thinking about. I don't know. I just felt like that may have been too early of a joke to be joking about the death of Elvis, but I don't know. That's just how I thought. But yeah, that's it for like the bulk of discussion for it. I got some categories gonna shoot at you.
One quick thing.
Yeah. What do you have?
Is just the title Beetlejuice. So I think it's interesting that you look at the name, the way his name is spelled in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's completely different than the title of the movie.
It's like Beetle, Geuce.
Yeah, it's like Betelgeuse or something like that.
Yeah, which is like the name of like the largest star that ever. I'm pretty.
Okay, I was gonna say it's the kind of name that like it seems like that'd be like a biblical demon name or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
But like Beelzebub.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't say that. But
yeah, it's all good. You just cursed the podcast.
Oops. But Beetlejuice, it's cool that it's spelled like that because that's the way it was with the charade.
Right.
Charades.
Yeah.
Look behind you, and there's that beetle like, hey, how are ya? and then the whole like orange juice thing.
And it just comes
beetle
out.
Fruit, beetle drink, beetle breakfast, beetle juice.
Yeah.
I like that it's called Beetlejuice. I like how it's spelled.
It sounds gross.
That way, where it was like it's from the title comes from that charade scene.
Yeah, it's spelled. It's like it sounds gross for like a reason of his character basically, but they actually were thinking about that. The only reason they spelled it like that for like the title is because they felt like it would market better. It would make more sense. People were like, "What? Beetlejuice? Yeah. What?" Because I remember that as a kid. In fact, back on the Netflix thing. I remember when it came in the mail when I was a little kid. And I opened it, I was like, Beetlejuice? That sounds weird. My dad was like, yeah, that's it. It came in. And so that's what we watched. But it was kind of like the same thing. Like, what?
Beetle, yeah, no, right?
Same thing. But yeah. Anything else?
I also I have to look it up because it's so long. But one of my favorite quotes of the movie It's so funny, but it is a long one.
It's a long one.
It's when they ask Beetlejuice, "Are you qualified?
Oh yeah, are you qualified?
Are you qualified for this?" And
yeah.
oh shoot, I'm not connected to your internet. So
Oh yeah.
But he's like, well, I went to
I know.
Juilliard and I went to Harvard School of Business, and well, I've watched Exorcist 160 times, and it gets funnier every time I watch it. And I'm dead.
That was actually.
Yeah, I'm qualified. I was like, that's so funny.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I love how he just went and he was like, well, and he actually sounded like Michael Keaton, because like I've seen other movies, where he basically just talks normally, obviously, but like I know exactly what you're talking about, and I put down in my favorite quotes like, and I've seen Exorcist 167 times. It gets funnier every time I watch it, But no, I love that part. That's actually like my favorite quote in there.
Well, I attended Juilliard. I'm a graduate of the Harvard Business School. I travel quite extensively. I lived through the Black Plague.
Yeah, that's right.
I've seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every time I see it. Not to mention the fact that you're talking to a dead guy. Now, what do you think? You think I'm qualified? But it's just, what makes that line so great is obviously the way Michael Keaton delivers it.
Yeah. No,
Like,
you get anyone else.
I wonder, I want to know, I wonder if that was an ad-libbed one.
That probably...
Because that whole thing, it sounded like a stream of thought.
It kind of did. It's genius in that way. I love that part. But no, that I will put that down as favorite quotes. Well, yeah, we're here. Why don't we do favorite quotes? So that's pretty much it is that like your top favorite quote right there?
That one, I like the quote right in the beginning that Adam says to Barbara, where he's like, Barbara, I don't think we have much to worry about anymore. We're dead.
Yeah, we're dead. Yeah. We don't have much to worry about anymore. I do like that part.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. So he's kind of accepting the fact. Yeah, no.
Or it's in the handbook. I thought it was funny how many times people were reminding them to read the damn manual.
Yeah. That's basically how jobs go, especially in our line of work. Did you read the call sheet? Stuff.
No, I thought it was funny. It kept popping up. They're like, well, if you read the manual, you'd know this.
I do like that part. I like how it's like you said, it's a reoccurring quote. Obviously, we already talked like, want a cigarette? No, I'm trying to cut down myself. I love that. But I put down my favorite within that like whole like slew of things like being qualified. Like I've seen The Exorcist 167 times. It gets funnier every single time. Yeah, I love that part.
Every single time I see it.
And and just the way, like you said, the way he delivers it is just phenomenal.
So good.
It was like being in an amusement park. Wham! It just
wham!
Just I don't know why the wham like makes it funny. It probably would have been like being in an amusement park. It would have been funny, but when he goes wham, it was just it made it funny. I need proof of life after death. But what about what happened at the table? Where like the husband and wife, and then Catherine O'Hara's like, yeah, did you not see that?
It wasn't a hallucination.
Yeah. I like when she does say that.
She's like, what was that? What was that at the table? What happened? What was that?
Yeah, that wasn't a hallucination. I was like, this is real.
You're a flake, Delia. If you want to scare people, do it in your sculptures.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's the whole...
Brutal.
For a second, I thought you were saying Beetlejuice. I was like, wait, what? I thought you were saying as Beetlejuice. But he does say, like, you're a flake.
You're a flake.
You're a flake. But let's see. The only one I can deal with is Edgar Allan Poe's daughter. And we already talked about that one. And hey, coach, where's the men's room? Like, I'm not coach, yeah. I live like I forget.
I'm not your coach. He survived.
He survived. And they're like, oh, coach, let me get something straight here. I forget what he said after that. I was like writing that.
It makes you wonder what happened. Like I assumed it would be a bus crash.
I think it was a bus crash.
Yeah.
They're like kind of there, just rotting for a bit.
The coach survived.
I like when Beetlejuice is like, this death thing. It's just too creepy,
As he's like eating a cockroach.
Yeah, he's doing something very obviously creepy. I love it.
Yeah.
I like when he goes to Otho, like, not so fast, round boy. We're gonna have some laughs.
Okay, I didn't quite get, like, all he did was change his suit.
Yeah.
And Otho was like, ah! He, like, freaked out.
It was because he's, like, so hell-bent on design.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Also, they never said this, but, like, Otho's character, he seems like your stereotypical, like, gay interior designer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, the way he, like, interacted and, you know, when he's doing, like, the little, like,
Yeah, he's using his hands so much, and just the way he talked, it was just very stereotypical.
Yeah,
and it played into it.
Yeah,
it was funny.
It was funny.
It was almost, I don't know. You don't see that a whole lot in like '80s films like that.
Yeah.
So it played out pretty well. I think he was a fun character. I liked him.
Yeah, he was. I actually sad. Did you hear about what happened to that actor?
No, I didn't.
So I actually looked him up the other day because I thought he looked familiar. That guy died a sad death. He died in like 2012. He was like in his kitchen and fell. He like hit his head on the kitchen counter and died of blunt trauma.
What?
Yeah.
No, that's sad. So he's not gonna be in the second?
No.
Wait, why is that the first thing I thought about? Man.
Well, I mean, it's true. He's not going to be in the second.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know why. That was
Unless, dude. Oh God.
Oh, they try to do.
No, I was going to say, imagine how bad it would be if it was like CGI.
They try to bring him back.
Or like, it's fine. We can just replace him with James Corden.
Yeah.
That would be really bad.
That would be bad.
Honestly,
I think James Corden could do that. That's an idea. But no, man, that's sad though that he died that way.
I know. I was just like,
that he died in general, but like that's sad. Blunt force trauma.
No, it was like kind of spooky, and it was like watching. And I looked it up like in the middle of the movie. So I was watching the rest of the movie. I was like, it was a little eerie because I was like, it's always weird when you're watching a movie and you know like that person's dead.
Yeah.
It's even more eerie when you're like that person's no longer alive, and that person also I'm watching footage of them years before they fell and died in their kitchen.
Yeah.
Like it's just weird.
And it's a
little spooky.
Sad to say, you know, like moment of silence for Robin Williams. You know, like same thing when I watch that. It's like that guy hung himself. Like that's
it is
depressing to see someone who like brought like such a character to to the screen, and but it's like the same thing. I see exactly what you mean with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, the death of the actors definitely has like a toll on it too.
Yeah,
man, I didn't know that. That's sad.
Yeah,
I liked his character. Well, cinematography is the next category. I liked it. There were a lot of really interesting changes, really interesting like just the way it was done. I really liked it. I didn't write down. Oh wait, I actually jumped ahead. We'll circle around. But yeah, the cinematography. What'd you think about it?
The lighting was great in the movie. Every scene I felt was like multi-layered.
Yeah.
Like you'd have the characters sitting at a table. There would be a counter or shelf behind them with stuff on it, and then behind that there would be lights coming out from the wall or something. I was like, there's like 3 layers to like every set.
Yeah.
Like, it was very cool looking. And then I also noticed in the beginning that there was a really cool cinematography clue that I thought was foreshadowing their death, Adam and Barbara's death. It's right, and I noticed this last night, and I was like, oh my gosh, is when Adam jumps out of the car, remember he runs into the hardware store?
Mm-hmm.
When he runs into the hardware store, the color scheme outside of everything is
kind of
like
bleak.
It's so red.
Oh.
Like there's that old man sitting on the bench. There's the red flowers in front of the store.
That's
everything
true.
hanging in the store window is red. There's a red shovel. There's a red awning in front of the store, and then there's people cleaning a red fire truck right next to it.
Oh,
and then right when he runs back in the car is right when they crash and die. And red typically signals like danger in film
and death. The death of a character.
So I was like, it's interesting. It's like right before they died in that shot, like everything was unusually red.
That's crazy. I didn't even pick up on that.
It was interesting.
I don't pick up on certain things that I feel like I should with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's crazy. They died on a red bridge. The bridge they died on was red.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Okay, well.
There you go.
Hey, that's why we're here. We're helping each other out. But no, like that's crazy. I didn't even pick up on that. That's so cool that you noticed that too.
Yeah, it's crazy. Colors play a big role in film.
Yeah, and so the cinematography definitely had like a hand in like, keeping an eye on that, which was pretty cool and good for them.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I liked it. Like you said, it was like just very layered. They had like perspectives, just the way they played with like all the different set and like stuff like that. Like I mentioned before, them going over like what you think is like the over Vermont basically, or just the town they were in, but it turns out to be just the model set. Like they did a good job of almost making it look real. I don't know if that was just me, just
no, it looked really real because like remember I didn't even notice that before.
Yeah, and then it goes closer and closer, and like my brothers were like, looks like a old Thomas the Train set, you know.
That's funny.
I'm like, oh wait, shoot, it does. So yeah, because I asked them like, guys, does that look like a model set now? Like, yeah. I was like, wow, that's impressive because it looked like real trees in the beginning.
Yeah.
So the cinematography was good. We skipped over the first few.
Okay, one more thing to cinematography.
Yes.
I was just gonna say two things. The first thing is the world of the undead.
Yeah.
I loved they went all out with the color green.
Yeah.
And the green lights. And
Very
then everything looked like a really well done haunted house set.
It did.
It was really cool. And I noticed that everything that was outside of the house or the main house, I mean.
Right.
Everything outside of that or like any outside of the spooky scenes when it's just like showing the town, especially in the beginning, or just the house, like it was very much like Tim Burton's Suburbia look, kind of like Edward Scissorhands in a way.
Yeah.
Where it's like everything looks really neat and collected and nice and plain and simple. Like there's not much going on. But almost like a Nuketown.
Yeah, very true.
But it's like the colors pop out. Like the setting itself is very simple, but like the color placement, it somehow captures your eye still, even if there's not much going on.
Whereas
the suburbia setting is very interesting.
Whereas in the heart of it, just really is a contrast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, still same like color popping, but just a very different palette.
Yeah,
that's a very interesting. That's a good observation that I noticed, but didn't really like clue in on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool that you pointed that out. But yeah, any other things on the cinematography?
I mean, I don't think so.
Because that's the most that anyone's brought like details and thoughts on the cinematography on this show, actually. So good job.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Patriot.
Oh yeah, that's right.
After what they did to Becca. It's the boys, okay?
I'm gonna grab my boys.
Yeah.
So hit picks. What stood out to you? Like, what's something you really liked? It can be like one or two answers. We basically talked about all that we liked in it, but like, what really stood out to you? What did you really like?
Overall, just the energy of the film.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, just like lots of fun. There were times where like they would play certain soundtrack or song.
Yeah.
Where I would be like, I want to get into this too.
Yeah.
Especially the end and like the dinner scene.
Yeah.
But it's just the whole like even just the orchestra music. It's like dun 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 dun. Bum, bum, bum. It was always just like some fun orchestra. If it wasn't like a specific song, really with like lyrics. The whole time the energy was there was like comedy. It was creepy.
Mm-hmm.
It was just fun. I don't know. Like there's really not many. I don't know if there really was a like dull moment.
No, there's really not a dull moment. Like
that's what stood out to me the most. I think.
I know. I would say the same thing. I really like the term like Tim Burton's fingerprints on it. Just this was his you could really see his directing in it. Just reading some of like the things that they mention like on like IMDb and Wikipedia is like just how much he put thought into it, and it really played well. And I love his take on it. Anything else for hit picks?
Mm.
Can't think of anything else.
I mean, I feel like a lot of the things I like to we covered.
Yeah.
Like Michael Keaton's performance.
We've that's either been covered or to be. What about nitpicks? Was there anything that really rubbed you the wrong way with it?
I have to think about that. There wasn't really anything that was like glaring in my face that I was like, oh God, I really don't like that. I'll have to think about that for a sec. I usually I have problems with that too, is I tend to really focus on what I like.
That's true.
And it's hard for me to think of things I don't like. Like when people want me to read their script,
Yeah.
I'll tell them, be like, well, this is what I love.
This is what I love.
And then they're like, well, what doesn't work? And I'm like,
oh, I'll have to get back to you.
Yeah, no, I have to get back to you on that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
And I know it's not, your script's not perfect. There has to be something that is not working and I'm not seeing it.
Right.
Like, so I have to think about that for a second.
Yeah, that's the thing. But like, also this is a hard movie with that. I feel like there's a lot that you normally would not like, but in this, it just works. Nothing is supposed to make sense, whereas everything that is supposed to make sense does. And it's just, like the fact that like it was supposed to look like a B movie set, that was very intentional. Everything was intentional, and it works. It was there for a reason. And I really appreciated that. So with that being said, I really can't think of a nitpick myself. I was trying, even when I forgot to look for like nitpicks, I was just kind of like immersing myself in the film today. And I just couldn't really think of anything or notice anything. But I mean, that's it in a nutshell. I just don't have any nitpicks. So unless you came up with one.
I feel like there's got to be something.
How about this? We mentioned earlier that the kind of fight scene with Beetlejuice in the end didn't hit a sweet spot entirely.
Yeah, I mean everything was pretty abrupt.
Yeah, it was all intentional.
And I was saying, like, as a whole for the movie, I didn't have a problem with that sort of pacing. But I think at the end, that's probably when you would feel it the most.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And also, like, another thing is, and this is interesting since I watched it like 3 times. But the first time I watched it, I was like, wow, it's called Beetlejuice, and honestly, Michael Keaton had a lot less screen time than I thought he would.
We could have used that is actually something.
Like
he played very well.
Yeah, because like at least just from how it's marketed, I see that cover, I see Michael Keaton, and it's called Beetlejuice. He plays Beetlejuice. He's listed as like, it's like Michael Keaton in Beetlejuice, but like he's not the main character.
Yeah, he's in 15 minutes of the movie actually. Yeah,
really?
Like 15 minutes of screen time.
Yeah,
it's not. I think it's like 14 and a half, or I don't know. It was either 14, maybe 17 and a half. So like around 15 minutes of screen time.
It's just interesting. Like it makes sense why the movie is called Beetlejuice, because a lot of the plot and what the characters are doing center around him.
Right.
About like they need his help or something like that. But I don't know. It's like I guess the movie itself, like a lot of the marketing I've seen and stuff, I would have thought he is the main character, and he's not.
Right.
He doesn't have an arc.
He definitely does not.
From beginning to end, he's the same Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
He's just, he got taken away by the sandworm, but he didn't change as a character.
We don't know if he for sure died, which he didn't,
Oh, yeah, well, the waiting room, right? Where he's like...
Yeah, that's true.
I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, obviously, I did forget.
Hey, Elvis, yo, King!
Yeah, swap the number. He's like, well, I got GQ interview in about an hour and a half. But yeah, that's a good point. He could have used some more screen time. It would probably have been fun, just to have a little more.
Yeah, so I guess like either more screen time or I don't know, like I don't know if it's really a criticism on the movie, what happens in the movie itself, but I do think it is odd from like the marketing, the posters, what I've seen leading up till.
That's true.
Now, I guess I would have thought he was like the centerpiece of the whole film.
Right, that's true.
He's not.
He would have had a little more, maybe 30 minutes of screen time. But yeah, I don't really have anything for nitpicks except for that. Now, cultural impact. What do you feel like has really changed since this film came out? I mean, obviously, Halloween costumes center around Beetlejuice, This is a movie that, I mean, this is basically our Halloween episode, So yeah, I mean, this is it. And it's, he just kind of Tim Burton kind of developed a Halloween kind of style with this, I feel like. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely did. it's definitely one of the most fun Halloween movies. Just with the set pieces.
Yeah.
There's always something going on. There's always some crazy lighting, or there's some creature, or like it's very Halloweeny.
Right.
You know, with like there's always, I don't know, there's always just like spooky stuff going on, but it's like fun. It's like it's like I was saying before, like the sets kind of almost look like a haunted house you'd walk through, like pay a ticket to go through something.
Right.
The whole movie kind of feels like that, where it's like it's all fun. It's all like one big fun Halloween exhibit.
Yeah, it makes creepy very fun.
Yes.
So yeah, I feel like that a lot of that came from this film. So,
yeah, I would not be surprised at all. And also, just the concept I think is really clever. The story concept, and it's been borrowed since then. Is the whole thing about
kind of afterlife,
after like ghosts being in their house and wanting to get people out.
Yeah,
that's season 1 of American Horror Story.
Yeah.
Is at the very end the main characters die in their house and new people move in. And they scare the crap out of them because they want them gone.
Spoiler alert, which I have not.
Oh, sorry,
I haven't seen, but I've definitely heard. No, it's all good. I'm not trying to break you down.
But yeah, no, like that's definitely a clever concept that's been used since then, and it's also a really good one to use as well, because it makes ghosts more than just some scary thing.
Yeah,
like in like a typical horror movie, a ghost is just like, ooh, spook,
right?
Jump scares.
It's basically
Conjuring, but like. That kind of concept and premise, it personifies and more humanizes the ghost, because it gives them more like, you understand, it gives them emotions and motivations where like they're still alive, or no, they're not alive. They're dead, but they're aware they're dead. They're still in their house. They're still attached to the house. Right. They want the new people out. They're still dead people, but they're still trying to achieve goals even in death. So it very much personifies them as spirits, as like they're still kind of like people, but they're dead.
Right.
So it gives them, it makes them a lot more relatable than just some specter.
That's true. It does kind of set that up for other films that kind of did that too. You know, I like that. I like that kind of like Haunted Mansion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which we won't.
It's funny.
I'll talk about that later. But yeah. Any questions needing answers? I mean, everything was just kind of like a fun movie, just kind of a roller coaster, basically.
I mean, some of my questions were just like silly. Like
how
I don't even know if they're worth asking. Like one of them before was like, why would the lady tell them how to summon Beetlejuice?
That's true.
It's like, but the movie's got to move along somehow. But like, I don't know.
It's got to kind of just briefly explain something without being there too much. And it's just not, some of it's not entirely worth, because it's supposed to be just a goofy, cheesy, it's a comedy, you know, and so it's not really, a lot of it's supposed to be like kind of hand waving. But yeah, I mean, how did the football guys die? You know, it's just stuff like that. You know, it was almost obvious the you know, they probably got in a bus crash, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, don't they mention it?
Do they?
I think they did. Oh man, shoot! I think they did. Now I feel stupid. But anyway, just stuff like that. But yeah, this is a big one. Oh, did you have anything? I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, is like, I guess a question I have is like, is every single person who dies go through that process that the Maitlands went through, or the football players, or is it like just people who like have unfinished business or something?
True.
Or does that just apply to everyone? Is there even a heaven or a hell in this?
Right.
Like it's very interesting. It's just like, because you know they even say in the beginning when they're first dead, we're not in hell. And he's like, but it's just us. Like maybe it's heaven. She's like, this is heaven. There wouldn't be dust on my books.
Yeah.
But it's like, is there a heaven and hell in this world? Where are they? Are they just in like some weird undead purgatory? Like, does everyone do this? Do some people go to heaven and hell? Is wherever you are now, is that just reserved for like some spirits, unfinished business? You're still attached to the house. I get it. Like, I don't know. Just made me wonder.
That is a good question that is raised. But yeah, it does seem like it's more like purgatory. I think I'm saying that right. I should know. But yeah, no, that's actually a pretty interesting question that's raised. Like why does Beetlejuice go? Why does he go through the waiting room for a second time? You know, because he was obviously dead before. Where is he from? You know, there's just some stuff in there. It's just like there's not supposed to be a real answer, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask those.
Remember the caseworker or the lady behind the desk earlier?
Yeah.
She's like, you get to use this 3 times. So he must have gone back because he needed help for some reason.
That's true. Yeah, and then
he's going to need extra help now. His head shrunk.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Now he's double screwed.
Yeah, he probably used all of his.
Yo, King. Is that the way that was shot was so funny?
That was
like edited. It was like his voice and like the swap of the tickets is so goofy.
Yeah, it was definitely very comical. And it was just done perfectly.
Yeah, it was fun.
But yeah, I mean, he was apparently dead for 600 years. So I wonder where he would be from.
If he's been dead for 600 years, how come the Maitlands are just going to be around for 125?
That's true.
Or they said they're at least just going to be at the house.
They're at the house, and after that they move on somewhere else. Or do they move on somewhere else?
I don't know, but that's like if Beetlejuice 2 comes out, I wonder if they'll answer any questions about like how their undead world works.
Yeah, that's true. I do wonder where that's going to be. Notable acting performances. Obviously, Michael Keaton just stole the show. He had like 15 minutes of screen time. He stole the show. You know, he went out with a bang on each shot that he was in.
Oh yeah,
100%. And then I love both Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin as said it right that time as the Mainlands, Barbara and Adam. They did great. You know,
overall I feel like everyone did a pretty solid job.
Yeah, I didn't. You know, usually you don't see Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis in a whole lot of comedies. You know, they really brought out a good kind of. Yeah. They were kind of like the basic normal people of the movie. They still were able to bring like a good sense of comedy into it.
Yeah.
Winona Ryder and Jeffrey Jones and Catherine O'Hara, everyone did great. I loved all the acting, but Michael Keaton, of course. What's your take on the acting?
Oh yeah, I mentioned this when we were watching it earlier, but I was like, Michael Keaton's been Batman, but after watching this, he could be the Joker too.
Yeah, that's true.
Just from his range from like Batman and Beetlejuice is so cool. And there was also even a point where Beetlejuice is on the model, and these 2 little bat wings pop out of his head, and they look like almost like little bat ears, and it's going like this. But I was like, this was a year before Batman came out, but that's also by Tim Burton, so I wonder if that was supposed to be like a little foreshadowing Easter egg.
Yeah, that's true. A little Easter egg on like the popular culture.
Yeah, I don't know, but
that's a good point.
Oh, the acting was it was pretty great. I think earlier I kind of went over that.
Yeah,
like I gave my little opinion on Jeffrey Jones, and
we all sad that Jeffrey Jones is
creepy.
Yeah, he hasn't turned. You know, things haven't turned out well for him.
Didn't he get like arrested for child pornography?
Yeah, stuff like that. That's you know, I like him as an actor, but that's not cool. That's a big shame. That he's gone down that path. That's real sad. So we've already talked about cinematography. The score and the soundtrack by Danny Elfman captured the emotion and the texture. I like Danny Elfman. He's awesome.
Yeah.
I already saw he's already slated to do the score and the soundtrack for the second, apparently, according to what we're seeing. But no, Danny Elfman always is a knockout for it. Did you have anything to say about the score and the soundtrack?
I feel like a lot of these topics I like already talked about.
We already, yeah. But I like taking the time to really narrow down on it. But yeah, you're right. We have definitely talked about it.
Just the I guess like the opening credits when the title Beetlejuice comes up. It's actually kind of a spooky looking title.
Yeah.
Like it almost looks like something you'd see on like the side of a mausoleum or a gravestone.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and knowing Tim Burton, like I hadn't seen the movie until last night, so I'm like, you know, I'm thinking like, ooh, spook.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a fun movie? Is this going to be scary? And then it's like the second the title disappears, it goes to like the tops of the trees in the model.
Yeah.
But the music is immediate energy, like.
It's going to be creepy. It's going to be fun. It does set that up.
It's like boom, here's the music in the movie.
It does
like
kind of the same thing
in...
as Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of does. It's almost like the James Bond kind of title sequence in the very beginning, where it's like showing you basically what we're going to go through.
Mm-hmm.
So the music does that on its own, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Story rewrites or inserts.
Inserts.
I
always laugh. It's a stupid joke Alden and I have.
Oh, really?
About inserts.
Inserts. Uh-oh. Let's keep this PG, buddy.
No, okay. Okay.
I'm joking. I had to bring it there.
No, it's we also made a joke about that because it does sound weird sometimes.
Yeah. But would you like rewrite anything, or would you like just insert something? Maybe more screen time for Beetlejuice is probably mine. I don't know, just like slightly extended, just kind of add a little bit to each end, just a little more.
Yeah.
Can't think of anything.
It's kind of like the nitpicking thing, where it's like, I know I would, if I thought about it, I would definitely come up with something. But it's like off the top of my head.
Which I didn't think about it too much, honestly. The story, I never really do.
It's a tricky topic, talking about like
it
rewriting.
Is. We don't. If like, I should probably tell you if I don't before. That's what I'm gonna start doing. Like, hey, I don't have anything for this topic. We're gonna not do it unless you have something. No. I mean, you don't have to come anything. I'm not gonna try to force you to think of something unless there's something that really caught your attention. But do you just want to move on to the next one?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think of like something to rewrite or put in.
Just maybe a little bit more of like a sequence in the end, just a little more climatic.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like, if it's something I'm changing, it's just got to be so absolutely necessary because it's already a beautiful thing that the movie's an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm. It is.
So like, I don't want to mess with the length that much.
It was trimmed very nicely.
Yeah, and like, the shorter your movie is, the more it only helps you.
Mm-hmm.
More people want to see a shorter movie.
Yeah, but it makes you want to see it more.
Yeah. So like, I don't have anything on the top of my head now, but like if I were to come up with something, it would have to be something that would have to be pretty well worth it.
Yeah.
If it's going to really be like adding on to the movie.
Right.
There's not much I would want to remove from it. That's for sure.
True. Same here. I don't have anything for this next one because I think it's perfect as is the recasting. I mean, with the baggage that now Jeffrey Jones kind of carries, but I still loved him in this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, that if it was present day, I would definitely change that.
I feel like you kind of have to.
Yeah, definitely. There's nothing. I just think the cast is perfect as is. I'm glad they didn't go with Sammy Davis Jr. as Beetlejuice. That would have been, I don't know. It would have been interesting to see what that would have been.
Yeah.
But at the same time, no. Do you have anything? What do you have to say about? Do you think the cast was pretty much perfect? Yeah,
I think so.
Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The only really cast members I wasn't a huge fan of are like maybe like the business people. But that's not really them. That's more just the characters.
Yeah, they're just they're very minor characters too.
Yeah.
Which they didn't really have that big importance in it.
No.
So they didn't really have anything. But Michael Keaton, don't touch him. Whole family, don't touch them. The Maitlands, don't touch them. It's perfect. I loved, like Gina Davis has been my celebrity crush many times before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love Gina Davis. I don't know why we haven't talked that much about her, but she was awesome. She was just very grounded, She wasn't too like, oh wow, look, she's crazy. She's just the normal, just very fun, loving wife, And then Alec Baldwin's the same thing, just very grounded and basic. They're not very quirky, which you need that in this to not to be too heavy-handed with the quirkiness,
Mm-hmm.
Kind of balance it out.
This random thought. This movie reminds me of a little bit.
What was that?
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Rocky. Actually, I've not seen that.
Oh.
Yeah, I have not seen that.
Man, you got to see it. It's way more quirky and weird.
With that being said, this movie reminded me of The Addams Family.
I have not seen that.
Okay, So there we go. You watch The Addams Family. I'll watch Rocky Horror Picture Show. I've been meaning to watch Rocky Horror Picture Show.
We should just watch the Rocky Horror Addams Family.
We should just make that,
The Addams Family Picture Show.
It would be like 4 Rooms that Quentin Tarantino did with like Robert Rodriguez and all of them. Like, we do our own thing where we make one movie just kind of based off of those things with our own thing. Anyway, it makes sense in my head, probably doesn't, talking to you. Well, that's it for all the categories. That's basically it for the podcast. Dude, thank you for driving out here, to come do this podcast with me on such an iconic film.
Yeah, I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah.
3 times.
Sorry you watched it 3 times.
No, it was worth it. It was worth it every time. Honestly, it went by fast every time.
So, listeners, if you're still listening, or viewers, if you're still watching, the only reason he watched it 3 times is because he got here when I was in the middle of watching it, then I had to step away for a long phone call, and then I went back, rewound it, then he watched it again. That's the only reason he watched it 3 times is because of me. And thank you for sticking in there. I hope you like watching it 3 times within 24 hours.
Oh yeah, no, it was a fun time.
You got your take for basically life now of Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I went from never seeing Beetlejuice to
seeing it 3 times.
Seeing it 3 times now.
I think you're good.
Yeah,
I think you're good. I mean, you remembered everything pretty well, all the lines just off the top of your head. You really retained it.
And you know what? I feel like this is a movie from now on that I'm going to want to watch around Halloween every year now.
Dude, I think the same. I got it, and I made sure I had it, because it wouldn't stream because my Wi-Fi wasn't working at the time. So, yeah, which it never does work. But, but yeah, that's it. But yeah, dude, again, appreciate you coming out. I definitely want to have you back on. You always have a place here. This is definitely your director's seat whenever ready. I'm going to, maybe get a backing with your name on it. So
that'd be pretty epic.
I'm hoping, no pressure, but I'm hoping, to do that. And with that being said, you're always welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. No, this is a lot of fun.
Will Murphy, everyone. Will Murphy.
Jacob Strupak, everyone.
Your host. Y'all, they're probably annoyed at me, so you don't have to tell them. Well, anyway, not sure of I'm wanting to do another scary movie, but this will most likely be our Halloween episode. Thank you all for sticking in and joining us today. We will be back with another one. Hopefully you will too, Will. That was weird. You will too, Will.
I get it.
Because I said your name twice, one actually trying to say your name.
I will.
Will too. William.
Weltana.
Had to bring out the Barbosa.
The death.
I brought out the Barbosa. You brought out the Davy Jones.
Well, we could do a lot of things if we want, but I don't want to get off track.
Yeah, we're gonna do impressions until we die.
Yeah,
that's what we do on movie sets. For everyone that doesn't know,
that is what we do.
That is what we do on film sets. I'm sorry, misappropriating the word. But no, everyone, email us with any movie suggestions, any critiquing on this critiquing podcast. Email us.
Critique the critique.
Yeah, critique the critic. Oh, critique the critic. That'll be fun. You can email us at mailbag@bowtiemovielounge.com. Follow our Instagram. That can lead you to a bunch of things. Stay for updates. I'm trying to get a Snapchat going. So yeah, it's fun. So send us suggestions to do, and we will try to get back to you as quick as possible with another episode. And then, Will, thanks again for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure doing this with you.
It has.
It has indeed, brother.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody. 2022, Halloween. It's actually been a full year. Our first episode was Halloween.
Oh, wow.
The first John Carpenter's Halloween.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was our first podcast that we published.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, if you haven't seen that one, go check it out with Gabe and I, who hopefully will be back to do a podcast with us soon. But anyway, thank you all for joining. Thank you so much. We will see you next time at the Bowtie Movie Lounge. Adios.